He says, sure, search my car. Well, she says, I recognize through my 11 years of training and experience as a law enforcement officer the substance to be some sort of narcotic. She found
a white flaky
thing on the floor, like a few specks of it on the floorboard. Yeah. In her experience, 11 years of training and experience
for what it was
taught her that this must have been some sort of narcotic.
I think what she meant, my 11 years as a cop eating donuts.
That's what I'm saying. The cops didn't. So they tested it. Did a roadside test on this substance, and twice, both times, it came back positive, according to the officers, to being an amphetamine of some sort. They thought it was crystal meth.
Yeah.
So
those roadside tests are notoriously
the guy went to jail.
Positive.
Went to jail.
Right.
And then the state lab said, yeah, this is not drugs. It didn't say what it was, but
it's not methamphetamine.
The guy said, I eat Krispy Kreme donuts in my car all the time.
Right.
That looks like Krispy Kreme donut glaze.
Yeah.
And the cop didn't know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because she's a female cop, and I don't know if female cops eat donuts as much.
But probably not glazed ones.
Not glazed. That much.
Right. Probably just the cake one.
Holy cow. Horrible.
And you had some data there too.
Yeah, so I think it was the New York Times or something. They dug into it a little bit, and they found that 21% of evidence recorded by police officers as methamphetamine turned out to not be methamphetamine. So 20%
false positives.
These are people being arrested.
Right.
21% of these, essentially the roadside tests.
And if you want to research this more, you go online and just say roadside drug tests, false positives, and you will get a nice expose on it where they test like 30 different common compounds, and they all come back as positive, one being a chocolate bar. So
yeah, absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. And the reason why when a cop asks you, can I search your vehicle, you say no. Yeah. Go get a warrant every single time. Because this guy, it turns out he really didn't have anything to hide.
Right.
But he still was arrested, spent time in jail.
Cost him money.
The good news, sort of, not for the taxpayers, but for him, he did get a $37,000 settlement.
Not enough.
I agree.
I agree. The problem is then what they can do, and Supreme Court says they can detain you a reasonable amount of time, being about 20 minutes, to get a drug dog. They can get a drug dog, and if the drug dog alerts, that's probable cause for them to search. Now, the drug dogs are about as reliable as these tests are. They're not very reliable.
It doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter because they're going to get in your car.
I'm saying you still say no.
Yeah, you still say no.
Don't give consent. It doesn't matter. They won't do that in every case.
No, not every, but they can.
And in this case, dogs love donuts, so it would have alerted on it.
This is they were liver flavored donuts too, which was really a double whammy. Ugh. But this started because she saw his CPL and he had a gun.
I think so.
I think
that's why she asked him to get out.
Yeah,
for her safety and his.
And then so I put together a list of states where you're required.
Well, I was going to talk about the guy, similar situation in Florida, that had drywall dust on the floor of his car because he was a contractor.
Yeah.
It tested positive as cocaine.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
Sure it does.
He was arrested. Same thing.
Well, there was the two brothers that were arrested because they had rock candy.
Yeah,
they go to their favorite place to get rock candy, and they were driving home, and they spent like 30 days in jail too and stuff. It was just ridiculous. So here are the states that require you to disclose if you're carrying a concealed weapon with your license. Don't disclose if you're carrying concealed without a license.
That's good advice.
So,
and don't disclose in Michigan if you're carrying with a non-Michigan license.
You're not required to. The requirement in Michigan only deals with those that are licensed under the Michigan CPL Act.
Yep.
It's a weird thing. Other states like Ohio, which is one where you have to, it says any license.
Yeah.
So you would have to. But it's Alaska, Louisiana, Michigan, Nebraska, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. That's it. all these other states don't require you to disclose immediately. Now, a lot of the states, you have to disclose if asked by the police officer.
Yep.
Do you have a weapon on you? You're supposed to disclose it. But there's only these, 7 or 8 that have it in law that you have to. It serves no purpose except causing problems like we talked about.
Yeah.
And other
it does absolutely no good because, like you were joking about, if you're carrying in a state and you're not licensed and you're carrying illegally, you're not going to disclose.
Right.
And most traffic stops, it'll be fine because you'll get a ticket or not, and you'll drive away and they'll never know.
Right.
Horrible. Oklahoma's a weird one. Your note here.
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
about this, that
That's
you must also inform private property owners. I assume if you go to someone's house or something, you have to tell them.
Right, which is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Does that include stores?
I'm assuming they're private property,
Yeah.
So you walk into
I got a
Walmart. I got a gun. Everybody hits the floor.
You get through the
He
line
walks through and he
quicker
goes,
that way.
I love doing this every time. I love shopping in Oklahoma.
That's a weird one.
It's not for officer safety. In fact, it can escalate things and make it more dangerous, especially when they want you to remove the gun and hand it to them or something.
I've had that happen.
Yeah,
I've had
ridiculous.
it happen. Yeah.
And they when they're doing traffic stops, they assume you're armed anyways,
If they're smart.
and they behave accordingly.
Yeah, if they're smart, they do.
The argument is, well, it lets the cop know and it relaxes him. Not always.
Yeah, I don't think
Not
so.
always. A lot of times it puts them on edge.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I will say, though, in general, I've been pulled over a lot. I will say...
Proud of that, are you?
I will... No. Well, kind of. I will say, in general, it doesn't have a negative effect when you disclose. For most officers, they have a positive or neutral reaction to it. In my experience.
True. Yeah. In mine, too. The few times I've been pulled over, they're like, okay, thanks for telling me.
The Michigan State Police, I think, by far the most positive about it.
And I don't think. I mean, some arguments they'll say, well, if you disclose, a lot of times the cops will give you a break and give you just a warning and stuff.
I'm going to tell you that's not true.
Yeah, I've had it both ways, so
What? I'm not going to. It's too easy.
I know.
It's too easy.
It's trying to set you up. Do you want to do? Do we have time
you have
to do
a
all
whole list of stuff here.
Yeah, I'm going to read those.
Why?
Let's save those. We can do those next week.
Okay, good.
Let's do the Arkansas Turkey Festival in Yellville. Everybody talks like this.
Why?
I don't know. It's Yellville. So for the past 1947, after the Second World War, this little town that has a lot of turkey farmers has a little festival. And they have all kinds of little events like little towns do. And one of the things is they would fly a plane over the venue area and drop live turkeys out of the plane, and then the kids and people will run around and catch them.
Do you get to keep it?
They get to keep them, and some are made into pets and some are made into dinner.
I would have it as a pet until I got home, and then I would have dinner.
Oh, I love you so much.
Oh, gobbles.
I'm going to name you Christmas dinner. Well, that's funny.
The Simpsons. Oh, Mr. Pinchy. You taste so... Okay, it was a lobster.
Elephant, wasn't it? Was it Mr. Stompy was the elephant he got, remember? I'm calling you Mr. Stompy. He was stomping everybody. All right. So for 50 years they've been doing this, and for 50 years somebody's complained, and the FAA has come out, and the cops have come out, and they said, we can't find anything.
What do you want from us?
We can't find anything illegal about this, you know. The only thing that we're concerned with is flying too low, and if it's a projectile, and these aren't projectiles or something that could necessarily hurt somebody, unless they drop like a bag of wet cement.
Well, they don't fly too well.
Yeah. But they can fly, contrary to the
for sure
old
they
TV
can,
show.
but not that well.
But not real well. Not domestic ones. I mean, live turkeys can fly pretty good.
They're not graceful.
Well, they're big birds, but
live turkeys, wild turkeys.
I mean, wild
I've
turkeys.
seen it.
Yeah. The dead ones, they hardly fly good at all.
They're the ones that hurt you coming out of a plane.
Yeah, they do. The frozen ones are really bad. Wow, they hit you in the head and
So what? Did the FAA put a stop to it or something?
No. And see, the town or the city got wise, and they put a disclaimer on their website that the turkey drop doesn't have anything to do with us.
Yeah,
these are private individuals that are doing it.
It's cool. So I'd like to see. I know how PETA does protests, and they like to demonstrate how animals are treated. Yeah. I like to see them throw some of their members out of the plane like you do turkeys, just to show us how terrible it is.
Right.
All right. We're out of time.
All right.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.